Alright guys, so what we got going on today is we're going to be taking stock battery out of my car. We're going to replace it with this guy right here. This is a Aprilia lightweight race battery. As you can see, it's about a fourth of the size, or a third of the size of my stock battery. Weighs 17 pounds. And cool thing about this battery is it's an AGM, which is absorbed glass mat, and it's got, let's see, 475 cold cranking amps. This battery, the stock one from Nissan, has 470 cold cranking amps. So this is a perfect replacement, and it weighs about half as much, and it's not going there, it's going to go in the trunk. So today I'm going to show you how doing a battery relocation in the Nissan Versa. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart all this stuff, get the battery out. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to route my new cable to the back. We've got, over here we have some wonderful zero gauge cable. It's about as thick as my thumb. It's copper clad aluminum, which means, I don't know if you can see it, but the center bit here is aluminum, and then the outer bit is all copper. Aluminum is a little more conductive than copper, but it's also more expensive, so that's why they do the copper clad aluminum. This is the ultra flex cable. You can see, I mean, it's zero gauge, and I can almost, I mean, you can make 90-degree turns like nothing. So that's why I picked this cable. It's from New Concepts. I got about 20 feet, which should be enough to run to the trunk. We're going to test that out right now. I don't think we'll have any issues. In fact, I should have a few extra feet. So, that's what we're doing. I'm going to take this battery out and we'll get started. Okay, so now take the battery out, and there you have it, stock battery. It's actually not all that heavy. It's heavier than the new one though. And I don't need that anymore. Okay. Alright guys, so now we've got it out. I'm going to get my shop light over here so you can see what I'm doing. So that's where the battery was. We got it off. So here was my negative terminal. Positive terminal's right here. We're still sort of going to use this terminal, but not in the same way. What's going to happen with this terminal is we're going to have the zero gauge put in there with one of these guys. I got some zero gauge crimps. I've got a giant torch in there to solder it. I bought some new solder, so those are going to go in. We'll bolt one on, and that'll hold the whole battery together. And then I'm going to take as much stuff out of here as I can. Like this whole bracket right here is going to be gone. This bracket will be gone. We'll do that right now, in fact. There we go, and there's that bracket out of the car. More useless stuff gone. I'm also going to take out this bracket, which used to hold on the air cooler and keep the battery in. Now, my car didn't come with J-hooks. That's where it would go. I don't know why mine didn't come with them. It just had a bracket that screws in here. this guy that I just took out. Oh, just as this guy. And it was highly annoying because it never did its job. It was crushed at some point, and just never worked. So we'll put this back in here. And there we go, that's out. So there we go. Both those brackets are out. Don't have to worry about them now. And we've cleaned up the engine bay a little bit. That's good. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take this guy right here, my fuse box. I'm going to find a new place for him because now he's not connected to anything. And I might reuse this bracket, but trim it down, because this is all that connects him. So I might just take the grinder and grind off that half. So I might just grind off right from here down, because really all I need is a couple mounting holes. I don't need this. I don't need any of this stuff. I'm not going to reset the car to stock at this point, because I've done so much. So I'm not worried about it. And I'm going to do a little bit of wire tucking, because now we've got all these harnesses sticking out. So we might disconnect a few of these guys and move them around so they fit a little better. But I've now got enough room. I can probably move this. I might put it right here. So we'll see. I'll get back to you guys with the next step in a little bit. Alright guys, so we have the zero gauge in. Got it connected right here. Soldered in. Took a lot of work, but I got a torch, a bunch of solder. So it runs through the grommet in the firewall. I was going to use the original hole, but it was too small, and I don't have a big enough drill bit to drill it out. So we did that. Runs basically the same route as my 4 gauge right along the side of the car into the trunk. And I've got plenty of extra cable now, which is good. So I have other things to do with it. Yep, talking to myself. Okay. So now we can move on to step 2, which is finding a place to put the battery. I've already got the terminals on. Alright, so I have enough cable that I can put anywhere in the trunk. And I think we're just going to put it right here. And we're going to bolt it into the floor. So I'll get back to you in a minute with that. Alright, so now we get the battery box in. Battery's in, we get terminals on. Zero gauge is run, and we just finished soldering. So we get it all soldered in. It's still hot, so we're not going to put that in. And we get this in, bolted in. All we're going to do this is we're going to insulate it with a little bit of electrical tape. Make sure it doesn't short out on anything. But that's about it. So we're just about finished with the battery relocation, and we'll test it in a minute. Alright guys, just soldered up my ground cable here. If you're wondering how you solder zero gauge wire, it is really hard to do with a soldering iron. In fact, I would say it's near impossible unless you have a really big soldering iron. So what I used is a torch. Basically just heat up the ring terminal with the wire inside, get it nice and hot, and then start flowing the solder in. Just keep pushing it, it'll flow right into the wire. And you know you're good when you see it start to come out the bottom. You know it's flowed all the way through, and this is these are really solid. So good connections. That's what you want. All right. So here's what we did inside the car. We've got this all taped up and covered to make sure it doesn't ground out on anything. Got my zero gauge going all the way back, and battery's gone. We trimmed the bracket. Can you grab the other piece of that bracket? I trimmed off, if you hold that, trimmed off the bracket here, so it was like that, and we had this big bracket sticking out. We don't need any of this, so hold it right out. Just cleaned up the engine bay a little bit, and that's what we got now. So we're all done. I'll show you the battery box. here's the battery box. This is actually an old ammo tin. It's bolted into the floor of the car. I've got some padding stuck in around the battery to make sure it doesn't hit on the sides at all or move around. Got my 0 gauge here going to the front of the car. I've got the 4 gauge going up to the amplifier. I put some extra tape around. It's not an electrical connection. I put the tape around just so it doesn't rub on the metal here and chew through the cable. Grounded right there to the bumper mount, and it works. Everything turns on and starts up, so we're good to go. That's battery relocation. See you guys later.